What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I go by Zombie. I'm very passionate about spirituality, specifically astrology. And one of my main goals with this channel is just to be able to show people how self-improvement and spirituality really go hand in hand. And so, if you're interested in any of that, or possibly just becoming a better version of yourself, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And without further ado, let's hop right in. And so in this series, I've been running through the placements that you would find within your birth chart. I'm going to leave a link down below. It'll take you to a site where you can put your information in, and it will create your chart for you. And then from there, you can go, down your own journey of self-discovery, figuring out your strengths and weaknesses and all of that good stuff. So this video, we're going to be talking about your Venus sign. In astrology, your Venus sign tells you about your powers of attraction, whether that be a new relationship or more money. When you think Venus, Venus is associated with beauty, art, again, money, your finances, how you attract these things, and all these things are attractive in their own sense as well, art, music, beauty, physical beauty, in a personality sense, of course, money, financial gains, of course, that's always attractive, right? Now, in a man's chart, the position of Venus suggests what he is attracted to in a woman. So let's just say you're a man, you have Venus in Capricorn, right? So you might find a hardworking woman attractive, or someone that is very structured, or has their things together, or maybe just a more mature mindset, right? You might find that very attractive. If you have your Venus in Aries, the body might be enough for you, because Aries has a lot to do with the physical body, and that might be what you notice more, or what again is just the biggest turn on for you if you have Venus in Aries. Now, in a woman's chart, Venus suggests the way you attract a partner. And so if you're a woman with Venus in Aries, again, your body might be one of your more noticeable qualities. Not to say that you might use that in order to get what you want. You could, but at the same time, it might just be that you are just very physically attractive. And again, going back to the money thing, like if you have Venus in Capricorn, Venus basically tells you, how you need to go about trying to manifest more money into your life, right? Financial gains. And so if you have it in Capricorn, it's not bad, because Venus, rules an earth sign, being Taurus. And so anytime it's in an earth element, it's really not too bad financially, right? Especially from a money standpoint, because you can be very practical and systematic with, your money, and manage it well and how you go about it. But, I say all that to say, if you have Venus in Capricorn, right? Capricorn is very work hard energy, very business entrepreneur type mindset energy. And so with that, you might have to work harder. Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn, right? And so Saturn, being associated with obstacles and challenges, you might have to work harder. You might have obstacles you have to overcome when it comes to, attracting that money into your life, versus like, with another sign. Let's say you have Venus in Gemini. Gemini is a communicator, it's an air sign. And so when it comes to making money, public speaking, or anything that has to do with, communicating ideas, might be, a very lucrative way for you to generate more money. And so your Venus placement also shows what you value, and how you show affection is what that is supposed to say. Well, yeah, what you value, yeah, and how you show affection. Again, if you have Venus in Capricorn, you might, just to stay on the Capricorn example, you might not show love in the most like lovey-dovey affectionate way. You might not say it too much. Again, Capricorn being a very much so serious type of energy, again, trying to stay on top of biz, right? Making sure everything's taken care of. And again, also just having that mature outlook on things. If they do get into it with you, deeply involved, a Venus and Capricorn person, most likely they already, care to a certain extent, right, beforehand, or else they wouldn't have even made that decision. So they've definitely put a lot of thought into it, again, right? A lot of thought into it, taking it very seriously. And again, although they might not communicate it that much, like again, the air sign Venus might, like Venus and Gemini, or especially Venus and Libra, because it rules Libra, they might not communicate it that much on a verbal level, but they'll show you in a different way, again, being an earth sign, it might be a more tangible way, like, money or gifts or spending quality time with you or something like that. But moving right along here, the excuse me, correlations, the associations we have with Venus are, again, your love language. If you have it in an earth sign, again, like I say, Capricorn, especially Taurus, because it rules Taurus, having Venus there, you could probably be more of a physical touch person, a quality time, person. Having Venus in the air sign like Gemini or Libra, which it also rules, or Aquarius, you might be more of a words of affirmation person, maybe a gift giving person with the Libra energy. But it's also associated with the way you attract money. Again, like I said, basically, looking at whether or not you have to put more actual work into it on maybe like a manual side, or thinking about it in more of a mental way. So far as, like I said, the air sign energy. Again, with Geminis can be kind of like jack of all trades sometimes, whereas they like to like have multiple skills, multiple things under the belt. They like to stay kind of busy in that sense, and so having Venus there in Gemini, you might have multiple streams of income, or you might desire multiple streams of income. Gemini also being ruled by Mercury, and Mercury being related to business and commerce, especially on that communication transactional level. You might have more of an entrepreneur or mindset. You might want to take more of an entrepreneur approach, to the way you make your money. And again, I'm gonna go into more detail with that specifically when I talk about, houses and aspects of life, and those that type of thing. But just to stay on the, just to stay on the topic of how this energy manifests within your chart, that's basically how you want to look at it so far as attracting money. So fashion sense wise, Venus also corresponds to that. Like I said, beauty, if you have your Venus in Taurus, again, it rules Taurus. You might like more relaxed, more comfortable clothing. Taurus, again, is very, very chill sign, right? They definitely like to kick their feet up when they can. And so you might not like, tight clothes and more flashy clothes or anything like that. Now, again, Taurus at the same time does have a taste for, the luxurious side. So, a lot of times they might save up for the nicer things, but at the same time, it's still probably not going to be something too flashy, definitely going to be something more on the relaxed, chill side. And so that's just a general interpretation of how you can get like a fashion sense idea from it, in the way that you can have like a natural affinity to certain aesthetics and certain styles. But I found that really cool when I started doing research into that. And so, I would suggest definitely doing that if you're more, of an aesthetic person, you like that type of thing, So moving right on to the functionality, the domicile, right? The home signs, like I already said a couple times, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. That just means that naturally, if you have Venus in Taurus or Venus in Libra, that energy of, love, basically, with that comes with, Venus, you'll naturally be able to express that more. Now, Taurus is definitely more of an inward, like self-love type of expression, and Libra is definitely the more outward expression of it, like, interpersonal friendships type of thing, even in like, business relationships, partnerships, marriage, definitely the more outward expression. But they're both, love. It's just different expressions of love. And so the detriment, right, the signs it's weaker and weakest in, honestly, would be Aries and Scorpio. And this is because Aries and Scorpio, you know, being ruled by Mars, they're definitely more, I don't want to say competitive, but they're just more me focused. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that, but they're definitely more of a me versus a we thinker sometimes. And so that can kind of make it difficult for, you know, difficult for dealing with relationships, and just in some senses, excuse me, if you do have Venus in Aries or Venus in Scorpio, you definitely probably do need to be more mindful of, you know, just the cooperation in that relationship sense, because it is definitely a team effort. The exaltation is Pisces, and that just basically means if you have Venus in Pisces, you know, it's very comfortable sign for Venus to be in, because Pisces energy again is naturally very compassionate, naturally very understanding, and honestly all love is, right, is just a certain level of understanding, in my opinion. I mean, in a relationship, open communication is like the number one priority. And why do, you know, as people, we desire open communication? That's because we need to be able to understand, right, what's going on. People are afraid of things they don't understand, right? Like naturally, you need that to have a certain level of trust, right? A certain level of comfort. And all of this is just love. Like, it's just different ways of looking at it, different ways of saying it, different ways. It's the same energy, right? And so Venus is exalted in Pisces because, like I said, Pisces is naturally very sensitive, very empathetic. And so, you know, it's easy for Venus to kind of operate the way she wants to naturally in that sign. And so the fall, we have Virgo, the opposite sign of Pisces, you know, and that's how it's always going to play out. You know, the home signs and the detriments, like, they're always going to be opposites, and the fall and the exaltation is always going to be opposite signs. And so Venus is in its fall in Virgo because, again, Venus likes to be open-minded, you know, a lot of times, and Virgo can be very critical and very judgmental at times. Now, having Venus in Virgo, again, Virgo dealing with like health to it and the body, you know, to an extent, you know, you can definitely be, you know, on the more physically attractive side, just like, you know, the Taurus or Libra energy. And even Venus in Aries or Scorpio at times, you know, definitely you could still be very physically attractive, but it's just like the relationship, you know, mindset, or the way you look at relationships, you know, when you have these placements, can be kind of, you know, challenging, right? And so again, with Virgo, it can be very critical, very judgmental sometimes, you know, even of their own selves, you know. So that just kind of makes it kind of hard for, you know, Venus to do what it naturally wants to do, right? And that is basically it for your Venus sign. Next, I'm going to be doing Mars, and we're going to be, you know, moving right along. But if you found this informative, again, hit that subscribe button for me. And until the next video, I'm out.